Welcome. My name's Nick Bird. I'm a principal with OzPlan Financial Services. Today we're going to look at how we answer this question. Can I afford to retire? Before we commence, however, I do need to remind you that the information provided in this presentation is general in nature and not specific to your needs or circumstances, and we strongly encourage you to seek advice. The Association of Super Funds of Australia provides estimates of the money you'll need in retirement depending on your lifestyle. You can see in the following table that they estimate a couple wanting a modest lifestyle that they'll require $48,000 per annum, a couple requiring a comfortable living, $73,000 or nearly $74,000, a single for a modest lifestyle, $33,500, and a single for a comfortable lifestyle, approximately $52,000. For a modest lifestyle, ASFA estimates this just covers your basic needs. So it's not cars, it's not holidays, it's just really your fixed costs of owning a home. For a comfortable lifestyle, they estimate this includes private health insurance, a reasonable car, household goods, and holidays. As I said, it does assume that you own your own home, and it's calculated on people that are age 65 with a life expectancy of about 85. ASFA estimates that a modest lifestyle that covers those basic needs, it'll be primarily, your cost of living will be primarily met by the age pension, but also topped up by having an additional 100,000 in assets. For a comfortable lifestyle, for a couple, they estimate having assets of 690,000, and for a single, 595,000 to meet the comfortable lifestyle. And that's basically meaning your income per annum is made up of the age pension as well as drawdowns from the lump sum. For more information on the ASFA standards, please refer to their website. Now, how does that look in practice? So when clients come and see us, they're like this blue line over time. So what happens is, this is the asset projection. We see over time they come in with a starting balance and it gradually tapers off as costs of living are indexed each year over the journey of their lifetime. We also envisage that things like new cars and holidays would be factored in this first illustration with the circle. We've got some holidays that we insert there because clients, after ceasing work, they wish to travel overseas or domestically. We also then know that over time they want to purchase a new car, or there could be home repairs. So these sorts of items get factored in over time. So that's all smooth, relatively smooth over time. You can see just tapering off gradually. But things don't go smoothly, as we know. We often, there's health issues, there's economic issues, there's a whole range of things that can be factored in. So part of our planning when we're looking at this forecasting is to say, what are these trigger events? What can happen? So let's have a look, for example, what the impact is to somebody's assets if the share market was to go down by approximately 25%. So on this chart here, you'll see, so the maroon line or red line across the top, that's the current asset allocation based on just a gradual decline in assets when cost of living's smooth and there's nothing volatile. The blue line there is if there is a share market drop of 25%. So we factor that in to see, well, okay, what happens? What's the longevity risk? What happens if their life expectancy is extended? What's their asset base with this sort of impact? And you can see that there's a very big difference between what their assets were before a share market fall versus what their assets are afterwards. So it's always good to be aware of where is your money invested, because if you're living off superannuation, for example, that's invested in shares, if the market falls considerably, you've got to sell a lot more shares to provide sufficient income for that month to meet your living needs. And once you get out of the share market, once you've sold shares to meet your living needs, you can't get that money back because you no longer hold the shares. So what it tells us is to reduce the impact of volatility, you need to be diversified. You need to be conscious of your risk profile, where your money's invested, because once these falls happen, it's very hard to get that money back, and you're not working, remember. So you're retired. So we're not in a position to potentially top up your asset base, and we just don't want that risk. So it's very clear and very distinguishable that we need to just work with clients to ascertain what that looks like so that they're aware. So what does that tell us? That tells us that you need to get advice. You need to just be conscious of where your money's invested. You need to understand all of that. For a lot of people, it's unknown. So you need to ask those questions. You need to seek the advice from a financial planner to say, where's my money allocated? How do I know what the risk is? The last couple of years, markets have been going up. Everything's rosy. And when you're working prior to retirement, it's different. You're adding money to assets. You've got a savings capacity. But when you retire, that can be turned on its head. So you just need to be aware of your position. But please reach out if you have any questions. This is how to contact us. More than happy to help. Thank you.